honest. On the
Hey
Ferrari.
guys, welcome to the video, and today we're showing you
remember
the
right
highlights
tyres, yeah?
from TTML F1 French Grand Prix Season
You want to be
6,
a different lap.
and this is the second
What did
sprint
you do?
race weekend of the season. As you see, we're in the one-shot quality to start off, and this is our first chance this season of potentially bagging the driver's crown.
Turn 1.
And France been a pretty good track for me in this game, so I had high hopes coming into this. After the first sprint race in Imola, having the incident on the last lap, I'm hoping to redeem myself with a good performance this time around, but we're going on a lap. Currently it was a 22.3, we're setting 22 zeros, practicing one shot quality laps on the mediums, because we're pushing to try and start on these, and we get a pretty good middle sector though. As you see, the middle sector split, it properly makes up for it. 49.8, that was like a tenth quicker than what I was setting in my practices beforehand. And we come to the final sector, get it pretty much hooked up through these little sections here. It's a very, very tricky one, but the softs are starting to really die out. Here the temperatures are absolutely flooding, but as we come through the final two corners, we're pretty much hooking it all up there. It was pretty good the rest of this lap. I was only disappointed really the first sector overall, but we're coming out of the final corner. You see it's P5 on a steering wheel, but in the end it's P6. I think we just bested to the line by Daniel. You see the one-shot quality results. We're starting P6, the highest driver on the alt strat, with Luca and Boss wanted the other two on the mediums down at 10th and 11th. But
Brake magic was left on.
We're getting to reform the grid
Good luck.
after the formation lap. Just hoping to not get swarmed by the three guys on the softs behind us. But we just wait for everyone to ready up. And we got the 5 lights coming on the screen, and we're away. And it was a fairly decent start. We only lost out the Freddy off the start, but Black Box tries to get up the inside. I knew we couldn't do much with how little grip it had in comparison to the soft, but we pretty much kept it in there. And Black Box is right alongside. He's trying to force a gap, but we're just trying to keep him boxed in. But he goes around the outside of us anyways, and I wasn't going to fight that too much. But we had Funky Chicken now along the outside. I had to brake a little bit to avoid hitting the rear of Black Box, and just about kept Funky Chicken behind. Now is essential, because that could have possibly lost us a heap of time if we lost out the train. But here come all the guys into the pits. Everyone apart from XL Zunima, who now inherits the lead of the race, who is going to go one lap longer on the soft. And we go to the next lap, and Zunima comes into the pits, and we now take the lead of the race, and we're pretty much just going to be absolutely pushing to the limit this lap, try and get the best in lap so we don't lose much time to the guys. Hopefully don't get jumped by the likes of Black Box or any other guys you see got really close into the pits there with Luca and Funky Chicken. As we go into our box, we had to wait a little bit for Bunty to go through, and that put Chicken right behind us. But I wasn't too worried, considering he was on the mediums. But as you see, we come out of the pits from P9. After that, there's still a couple left to pit on the alt strat, but we're behind CPI Basti, and that gap comes straight down after the one lap. Now we're behind Connor on lap 7, so we have, after this, I think it's 6 laps left to do this. So we're going to get past Connor down the straight. He pretty much let us through at that point, and didn't get past Basti into turn 1. It was a bit risky at that point. I didn't want to give DRS away where he could possibly come back, so we just waited for the DRS in the middle of lap 8. And come the next lap, we have 4 cars in front of us. Zunima Lynx, CPR Daniel, and Rudy, our teammate, who is the man we're fighting with for the championship at the moment. He is 72 points behind coming into this race. So all he needed to do was outscore us by 11 points to keep the fight alive. But we see he got past Zunima through the end of sector 3, and we're going to get past Lynx on the line to start lap 10 with 4 laps to get through these guys. And this is probably one of my best laps, to be honest. I know it's a soft tyre advantage, but we just managed to smash it from the start of sector 2 on lap 9 to the end of sector 2 on lap 10. You see we're over the back of Daniel and Rudy, and we're going to get a good run here. Daniel's struggling a little bit on the mediums, and we're going to get a nice run, and we're going to pull out past, and Rudy's giving us the slipstream here to help us get past a little bit. He pulls back onto the racing line. I'm going to just send it down the inside to take the lead of the race. 4 overtakes in pretty much the space of 1 lap, which was really good for us. And we go to the end of, we'll go to the middle of lap 13, and we got Rudy right behind us, and we are absolutely crawling for energy. We don't have anything, and Rudy, I think he's saved some back really for the final lap, and we're going to pull to the inside, try and defend the position here, try and get the most defensive lines to keep this sprint race win. And Rudy over the back of us, and we'll have to do for the defensive line again into the next couple of corners. But I think at this point I was pretty much safe. I wasn't going to defend the final corner because that could have compromised us big time, but he didn't send a move. We were pretty much there and there, and the ult strat finally managed to get it to work, and we get the sprint race win. 10 points, a 2-point advantage over Rudy, and now all we needed was a podium in the feature race to win the TTML championship.
That's critical.
And we get to the end of the formation lap on pole position on the medium tyres. So was pretty much everyone, I think, apart from G Chalkers, who was on the hards. But there was rain coming in the middle of the race. Didn't know exactly when, but we're just gonna have to predict it and see. But we're 100% sure the mediums would have gone past, way past halfway for the race anyways. But we're gonna get to the 5 lights for the main race in TTML France, and it wasn't the greatest of starts because Rudy gets alongside us, Noof over the backside, and we're just gonna try and keep it into turn. And Rudy gets insane grip and goes around the outside of us, takes the lead of the race. We look for the inside. Rudy covers it off, we look for the outside, we go through into turn 3, and we absolutely cop up the braking zone there, and we had to back off to avoid getting a warning or a penalty, and Noof slips through into second because of that. So not the greatest starts for us. We dropped down 2 places, but we're still in position where we want to be at the moment, and we go to lap 3, Noof pushing with the DRS on the first attempt, and Rudy pretty much leaving an open gap, and Noof will slip through into the lead and make a little bit of contact with our teammate on the exit of the left-hander there. But we go to lap 11, and we've been running in this order. There hasn't been any moves. I've been trying to push some overtakes from my teammate, but this time we're going to be close enough to pressure Rudy into making that move. He's going to go for the overtake on Noof, makes a bit of contact, pushes Noof a little bit off track, and we're going to get around the outside of him, and he does not get the exit at all, and that gives Zudema the run on him. But we're going to get the run on our teammate straight out of the chicane, and we're going to take the inside into the long right to take the lead of the race at that point. And we go to the end of lap 12, a lap later, and coming out of the final corner, the rain finally starts.
Rain.
And this is the point where I just absolutely dumped every single ounce of energy that I had left. And you see the rain was picking up, but the pace was still there. We're only a second off our best lap at the end of this lap. But you see our teammate pits very early. Preferred to go early than the double stack, maybe to lose less time. But you see we're only 8 tenths slower that lap. So it was pretty dry still, but I did not expect it to deteriorate as much as it did this lap. And you can see we're absolutely struggling to keep it on circuit, so we just had to pit at the end of this one. I think we probably got the timing right. I don't think we're going to lose out to our team. I think we'll actually gain our teammate. He might actually lose out to Noof, maybe Zudema, by the time we come out of the pits, but we don't get help this time. We should still keep somewhat a gap over Noof as we leave the pits, and we've got a decent gap over Rudy as well. And at this point it was looking ever and ever closer, this championship. We got a 1.2 second gap ahead of Noof, and for the last 13 laps we absolutely pumped in the lap times. The car was on rails all the way to the end. You see the gaps, we were almost 10 seconds ahead of our teammate, and we come up to the final two corners of this race, all faultless apart from the start, in my opinion. But we go through the final corner, and all we have to do is just not bottle it, and we get the exit. We're good, and we're going to cross the line to win the French Grand Prix in TTML, 6th win of the season, and the TTML F1 Championship with 2 rounds to spare, and been an absolutely cracking season. The only low point of the season was probably Russia, but the rest of the season was just absolutely magic. So yeah, couldn't have asked for a better season. And here's the goated graphics from TTML and Shazoo for the Drivers' Championship. On that, thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next one, goodbye.